welcome to Greenbiz Studio. I'm Teresa Lee, Food Systems Analyst at Greenbiz, and I'm excited to be speaking with Candace Laing, Vice President, Sustainability and Stakeholder Relations at Nutrien today. Candace, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks, Teresa.
So a lot of your work has been focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives for your own workforce, as well as your supply chain at Nutrien. Can you tell me why inclusion is such an important topic for you?
Absolutely. So, and however you put the order, equity, diversity, and inclusion, diversity, equity, and inclusion is a priority ESG topic at Nutrien. And that's for really two reasons. In the agriculture and mining sectors, they're still fairly male dominated. So we have a priority on women and gender, but also because a lot of our operational footprint is on traditional Indigenous lands, that we have a real focus on our Indigenous engagement strategy as well. So that's really reason number one. It is a material ESG topic for us, but also more broadly with ESG, I think we've seen in the last few years a real higher profile and focus on social justice and the role all companies need to play in seeking out more equitable outcomes in society. And we do all have an important role to play there as well.
Yeah, that is so important. And I really appreciate how you focus on the supply chain component of that work in addition to your own workforce. So I'd love if you could tell me a little bit more about those partnerships.
Oh, absolutely. And it's a really important part of our strategy. And I think I'll just back up one step, because I think a strategic focus on equity, diversity, and inclusion isn't just about demographics and representation or your board diversity or, gender equality, albeit those are very important things. But really, if we're going to have impact, a company should really look at every single opportunity you have to make an impact towards more equitable outcomes. So workforce is one of those impacts, and Nutrien has a big focus there. But we also focus on, partnerships and our community investments and supply chain, because those are real opportunities where we can bring more inclusion to our business and our sector. So I'll give you an example. Coming back to our Indigenous engagement strategy, because that's been a really big part of diversifying our supply chain. So in one of our regions and business units, we've really, as part of our Indigenous engagement strategy, looked at the entire supply chain and said, to do business with us, we are going to evaluate alongside other factors such as cost and safety, but 10% of our consideration in doing business with you has to do with your engagement in having impact with our Indigenous communities in this operating region. So we ask for that, what we call Indigenous content. So that could be employment for Indigenous peoples. It could be subcontracting to Indigenous companies. It could be community investment and scholarships. So just think of the impact of a company like Nutrien bringing their whole supply chain to that strategy and having impact on the Indigenous communities where we live and operate.
Yeah, that's such an important issue. And another example of your recent work on that area is an investment initiative that you're establishing with Radical Growth on agtech innovation. So a little bit of a different topic. Can you already share details on that?
Well, you're right. A little bit of a different topic, but actually just an extension of what I was saying a strategy should be, is looking at how really, I'll say it this way, bringing the value of inclusion to your entire business, your entire value chain, to every decision you make in business, which for us includes beyond even supply chain, looking at our investments and partnerships in ag tech. So in addition to doing business with us as a supplier, who does business with us in terms of the best innovators and entrepreneurs in ag tech? And that's another way to increase representation of what's been underrepresented stakeholders in agriculture. So we're starting with a very exciting challenge with Radical Growth this year, where we're partnering and looking specifically for investing in a few companies in ag tech that are run by diverse innovators and entrepreneurs. So we are looking at some of the challenges in investment, and it's we'll get more information on this as we tackle this year. But I think some of the statistics are really scary, Teresa, that with venture capital funding, around 2% goes to women, and almost half of that might go to BIPOC entrepreneurs. And so that is something we really want to help shine the light on and push through in terms of addressing some of the challenges in access to capital, but also access to support and the network that comes along with that. So we're very excited to bring that value of inclusion to our partnerships in ag tech, and we'll be launching that challenge later this spring with Radical Growth.
Well, I think we can all agree that we want to see that number rise. So thank you so much for your work and for sharing these examples with us, Candace. You just heard from Candace Laing, Vice President of Sustainability and Stakeholder Relations at Nutrien.